Welcome, guys. Come on in my garage. Let's have a talk today. First of all, today I'm smoking one of my less expensive brands. This is a Brick House, Connecticut, which is one of the newer wrappers on their, let's say, cheaper line. It's more economical line, actually. It's a bundle cigar, and it's called the Brick House Fumas. The one thing about this is, as you can see, it's burning fantastic. It's got some nice flavors. It's mild, has a cedar flavor, a little bit of coffee, a tad of spice on the tongue. It's got some flavor to it for an inexpensive cigar. And not only that, but I had an ash about that long, and what I realized, I did cut one open to see, and it has quite a bit of long filler in it. It's a couple of long filler wrappers with some sandwich, pieces inside. So it is a Cuban sandwich, but it does have a lot of, surprisingly, a lot of long filler. It's good smoke, great draw. Can't go wrong. You can get for about $50, you can get 20 of these. They just come in just a wrapper. They do have the cellophane wrappers on them, and very fresh, very good cigar. An everyday cigar is what it is. If you smoke a cigar every day, grab this, and then you can take your expensive ones for later on at night, after dinner, weekends, stuff like that. That's what I do. But anyway, it's a great little cigar. It's only about the fourth or fifth one I've had, but they've all been great. They're fantastic. They're by J.C. Newman, and they're the same company that does the Curum bundles as well, which are also very good. I also got a bundle of those. And they're about the same price, not much different. I do want to say that smoking is not the best thing. I'm not saying, hey, go smoke. I'm saying if you already do smoke cigars and you enjoy them, this is a good one to have. And cigars aren't healthy. And if you're new to this, remember, they're not healthy, and they can affect your health. So you have to do everything in moderation. And I try to keep it to one cigar a day for about 4 days a week when I'm out and doing work. And then on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I may smoke 2 cigars a day. But not that that's perfect either. I mean, it's not. Everybody's different. Everybody has different time to smoke. Excuse me. And just had a soda may not be the best thing to have with cigars because they do have, it's a lot of the gas in your throat. But anyway, it's a very good cigar. And I do say that it's worth having. So very nice smoke. But anyway, another thing I want to go to today, and usually when we go online, we talk, we come into my garage, we have a cigar together. I'll tell you a little story or something. The other day I talked about the Bible, and I talked about the book of Revelations and this fella going around saying he's the Antichrist and all. Some people have asked me in the comments that, what is this thing about Jehu? I mentioned Jehu and President Trump actually mirroring everything that happened to Jehu. And in fact, the Bible is so connected that you'd be shocked to find out that history does repeat itself in the Bible. And the story of Jehu and Jezebel is one of them. She was in power, and she was a worshiper of Baal, and Baal was the god that demanded that Israel and all who worship him give up their children. They would sacrifice their children on the fires to Baal. In fact, when they asked Jesus what hell was like, he said Gehenna, which is a place where they would sacrifice these children in fire. Now, why did I say it's the same? Well, if you really want to know the story in detail, online here, look up Jonathan Cahn, and he is a Jewish believer who has a church in Wayne, New Jersey. but he's known throughout the world. He travels all over, and he's really, he's a true prophet of God. And he even has a book out about it, because the details will shock you. It'll shock you. But you have to go listen to him, because he has sermons on it, and he explains in detail these things I said about history repeating itself with Trump. Why Trump? Well, they said that a trumpet will sound, and when the trumpet sounds, this Jehu took over and against Jezebel. Wow, military jet going overhead. You may be able to hear it. I live near Charleston, South Carolina, and we have the Air Force Base here. Anyway, back to the story. So when Jehu came on the scene, Jezebel was on the scene exactly the same amount of days as Hillary Clinton. She also was one that sacrificed the children for abortion, and Trump obviously was one that did not. Okay, and you say, well, that's just one thing. Well, when Jehu took over, the Temple of Baal came down. When Trump took over, he also beat the woman who was the first one online to really, really push for the abortion issue, and then and many other things too. But Jehu was the kind of guy that was sometimes seemed out of control. He spoke his mind. He rode the horses. They said he was like a madman. All of the same things, basically, they said about Trump. So, when this temple came down, we realized that when Trump came into power, when he became president, the temple in the Middle East, there was a temple of Baal still standing, came down. And it came down on its own. That was one of the many, many things. As I say, you have to go and hear the story. Another thing, let's go ahead at that point. Not only did he turn back over to Jerusalem and to the worship of the living God, but he said that Israel would be punished, for those kind of things. And the same thing that President Trump did when he's bringing back the Lord to the nations, and he moved the building, the United States Embassy in Israel to Jerusalem, and he was the first one to proclaim Jerusalem, first president of the United States to proclaim Jerusalem the capital of Israel, very much like Jehu did. And another thing that happened, amongst many other things, like I said, this is something you really need to see. You're not going to believe how many. You're not going to believe that even the days of their birth, the absolute days, amount of days, the number of days, were all exactly the same as this dispensation, you may say. So what happened is, the day he was taken out of power, a group went into the temple and attacked the temple. When Trump was taken out of power, the day he was taken out of power, a group went into the Capitol and attacked the Capitol. That's the same exact thing that happened back then. Now, I had been asked, even by FBI agents, about this. And the fact is that all they had to do was read about Jehu, and they would have found out that they would have known that something was going to happen that afternoon. President Trump absolutely told people, do not use violence, be peaceful. He never, in fact, the opposite. I heard the speech myself. He never said anything but to be peaceful and not to do something like that. Yet it happened. Long story, there's an argument, big argument about how it happened. But I'm not here to say that. I wasn't there. But if you look at the dispensations, you'll find they're exactly the same. And the same thing is happening today as was happening back then. And you'll be shocked to find out that it goes way beyond that. Names are the same. Jerusalem when it was given back after the World War II, and all of these kind of things are exact, even to the day. Not only the day, but names that are in the Bible. So that's why I mentioned Jehu and President Trump the other day, and this guy that, the Antichrist, he's calling himself not the Antichrist, but people are calling him that. He's not the Antichrist. But he is a problem, and he is a false prophet. This guy that's online here. But anyway, so that's what it is about Jehu, that he's actually living the exact life. And not only that, but things like the Temple of Baal falling, Jerusalem being called the capital, abortion being abolished, bringing things back to Christian and Judeo-Christian beliefs. All of these things are in the scriptures. And it's exact. And if you go and you look up Jonathan Cahn, you can hear his sermons on it. Unbelievable. He actually has a book. You can buy a book. Tells you all about it. And I mean dates after dates and names after names. You'll be shocked to see. Goes all the way back to Clinton and Obama. Obama, exactly how many days he'd be in power, exactly how many days, and you'll see that it's an exact dispensational copy of what happened in Scripture, almost as if it was a mirror of the end times. So it's very interesting. So I just urge you to go and read yourself the story of Jehu, and it's pretty interesting, guys. It's in the Old Testament, pretty interesting. And I think you'll really, really enjoy it. It would take me 2-3 hours here to go into every detail, believe it or not. Okay, so that's what I meant by that. Whoever, that fellow who asked me the question about, well, why did I mention Jehu being similar to Trump? Well, you'd be shocked to see how similar he was to Trump, even as a person, even personality-wise. And remember, he beat the woman who is in power. And everything started from that point on, from the fall of the Temple of Baal, all these kinds of things. So, again, go and check it out for yourself. Well, that's a little bit of that story. I have another one I'm going to be telling you soon, another story about the time that I, as a minister, with another fellow minister, went to Israel. And some of the shocking things that happened with us there, as far as meeting with some of the religious leaders in Israel. Not political, believe me, nothing political. The FBI and all, they're always listening to these things thinking, oh, what is that about? No, it was strictly religion, not political, but it'll open your eyes to a lot of things that you won't even believe. So I'll be telling you that story probably next time we meet. Thank you for coming into the garage. Thank you for having a cigar with me, or hey, just a cold drink. So I just want to say, God bless. Go and check out the story of Jehu. Hit the button. Please subscribe. Please hit a thumbs up. I'm trying to build the station, make it a lot better. I want to buy buy some equipment, and obviously I can't do that on my own, or I would have. But anyway, I just like to say God bless to each and every one of you. Have fun and be safe.